like whether or not, the board, like women on boards actually have authority to enact any of the change. Because we talk
Hmm.
a lot about having more diverse boards, but does it matter if they're diverse if they actually have no power to enact change? So the places you can enact change, I think the most obviously are on the committees. There are, on average, there are 3 committees for every board. These are things that you know. There's the pay committee, the nominating committee,
Yeah.
and the audit committee. And
Right.
those committees usually have 3 or 4 members. So, there's usually one committee that's 3 members, and the 2 others get 4, depending on like how many people are on the board and whatever.
Right. Well, they're required to have a minimum of 3 members
So,
in America.
so you're going to get at least 3, right? Um, on every committee, this is according to the data that I can download. This is like looking at almost 30,000 directors in the United States. There is usually one woman, and usually on average, you can actually you can think of it as the token woman
One
clause of
woman
U.S.
where?
boards on one of the committees. Like
Okay.
each
Okay.
committee usually gets one woman on it on average.
Which is saying a lot because there's an average of 2 women on the board, right?
So let's go over that. Okay. So first of all, on the committees, each committee gets a chair, and you will be happy to know that precisely average of 0 committee chairs are women. If you want like the actual number, it's
Okay.
2 female chairs for every 100 board committees. So you're talking about like
Jesus.
a really tiny number of
Right.
committees who are chaired by women. So the women are not given any authority, but they are allowed to sit on the committees themselves. But here's the
Right.
fascinating part. As you just
Yeah.
started to point out, there are 2 women on average on every US board, and there are 8 men on average on
Hmm.
every US board. And there are 3 committees. Now, if you're getting lost in all these numbers, what essentially you can just see when you look at these numbers is one out of those 8 men on the board have to pull double duty. They actually, in order to have the numbers of people sit on the committees that you need, that one man has to be on 2 different committees.
Wait,
Now,
do you mean women? Do you mean
no, I'm
women?
talking about men. There are 8
Okay.
men, and
8
one
men.
out of the 8 have to pull double duty. Now, the
Oh, I see.
upshot,
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see
the
what you're saying.
upshot, the upshot, if you're a man, is
Yeah.
you are chairing one of those committees,
Of
right?
course, because
Like,
you're a man.
because
I
you're a
mean,
man.
Jesus.
Basically,
Right.
0 women chair. So you as a man who is pulling double duty, you chair one of them, and then you're sitting on another one. And the upshot to that is, I'm sure there's some sort of handshake agreement that it's like, oh, you're chairing the other committee, so just join us, give us your opinion,
Hmm.
and don't worry about having to do too much work because we don't want to overload men.
No.
But now let's look at women. And thanks to the magic of math, we actually
Yeah.
we actually know, because there's 2 women and 3 committees, and every committee gets a woman on it, that
Right.
50% of women on boards have to pull double duty just to accomplish tokenism. And your core takeaway here is, just like at home where women
Hmm.
do like silent unpaid labor of taking care of the house while they have their job,
Hmm.
it's like a whole bunch of labor they don't get paid for. It's really nice to know that the few women who are on corporate boards are more likely to work twice as hard than their male counterparts and still get 0 authority for it. So,
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, without the benefit of actually being in leadership of something. Yeah.
so that, in a nutshell, was my quick and dirty analytical. So thank you, Warren Buffett, for pointing out independent directors. But if you want some independence, why don't you give people who might be independently varied-minded some authority to do something?
Yeah. Can I just tell you, I took a really quick peek at the numbers when the show started, and because you told me that there are more women serving on the nominating committee at boards, which is essentially is the human resources center for these companies. And at the companies I looked at, like Twitter, for instance, that is the committee membership that is paid the least.
Yep. That sounds.
I mean, what the hell? I mean, come on, guys. You're making it so obvious.